I got another example of it. Now, this person is not a politician and she's not a newscaster, but she's pretty famous and she's been in the news for bad things over the past couple of years as far as the right half of the country is concerned. Her name is Rachel Zegler. Zegler? I don't know. Zegler. Okay. There's something wrong with this person. She's also known as the star of Snow White and the Disney movie. Remember, she was out like a couple of years ago being like, there's certainly not going to be a prince rescuing me. I can tell you that. And then even Disney got on its heels and they're like, we're going to reshoot the movie immediately. Like, we're going to make some changes because there was so much backlash to her arrogance and just inanity. Well, she's back and she's very, very upset about the Trump win. Okay. This is a post she made on X. Here's what she posted. And by the way, she's starring right now in Broadway's Romeo and Juliet, so don't go see that. Okay. She writes, I find myself speechless in the midst of this. Another 4 years of hatred, leaning us towards a world I do not want to live in, leaning us towards a world that will be hard to raise my daughter in. P.S. She has no daughter. She has no children at all. Leading us towards a world that will force her, who's her, your daughter who doesn't exist, okay, to have a baby she doesn't want. Talk about borrowed worry, fellas. Leaning us towards a world that is fearful. 23 years old, no kids. I shouldn't be this shocked, but I am. I am heartbroken for my friends who awoke with fear this morning. And I am here with you to cry, to yell, to hug, to wax poetic on how the left continues to fail us in forging a new path forward. This loss should not have been, and it certainly should not have been by so many votes. I echo Ethel Kane's statement more than anything. May Trump supporters and Trump himself never know peace.
Yeah.
What the F? How?
Yeah.
Then she discusses the deep, deep sickness in the country. There's no help, no counsel in any of them. She attacked Twitter and Elon and finished with, fuck Donald Trump.
Man.
Hello, Disney. You're going to have to redo your film again because this woman is a pig and you fired Gina Carano for far less than this nonsense.
That's the thing is, so Disney, I mean, this saga, like you said, goes back a very long time. So she initially comes out and Disney's first film that they ever won an Academy Award with was Snow White. It's beloved by, children and parents all over the world. And she says that that's actually a very creepy story. A woman doesn't need to be rescued by a prince, and just attacks the film that is the cornerstone of everything Disney's built. They have this like PR move where she goes and she's like, no, actually, I love Snow White. It's a very nice story. And she steps in it again. And this comes at a time when Disney stock keeps going down.
Yeah.
And they're like, please do not say anything. And yet again, they can't moderate.
Simple. It's so simple. It's like we took all these beloved things that everybody loves and we ruined them. And we're shocked that we lost this election. That people, revolted against that.
Yeah, no, there are a variety of responses that come to mind when you hear her post, but it is music to my ears. And I'm not sure which part she's playing in Broadway's Romeo and Juliet, but I feel like that sets her up for a leadership position in the Democrat Party. And I would like to see her on a major party.
Totally. Of course she's Juliet. Of course. And they'll have no problem with this. Can you picture a Broadway actress who issued a post saying, F Biden supporters. May Biden or Kamala never have a moment's peace. That person would be fired so fast it would make your head spin. They wouldn't last one more minute in any Hollywood role. This is truly like, she has to go. I'm sorry, Disney. She has to go. Right now, they're dealing with the controversy with ABC, with one of their biggest stars, Michael Strahan, who refused to put his hand over his heart for the anthem, and the blowback just for that. He stood there with his hands in front of him, even though he's the son of a military vet. The blowback has been enormous. It is dominating like the Daily Mail now for a week, for 4 days now, since Veterans Day, for that. And you're going to put out a Disney film with Snow White, a beloved American character, with a woman who hates more than half the country, the half that just elected Donald Trump. This is an incredible pivot point right now. We'll see which way the woke Disney decides to go.
Yeah, no question about it. I also think it's just sort of a microcosm of this larger issue that Democrats and progressives have had, in that they literally need to implant brain damage into people. And you see it, like, I mean, look at that quote that you just read from her. I mean, just completely insane. If you're going to distract millions of people from a failed economic policy, open borders, things that demonstrably make their lives totally worse, the only way to do that is to give them actual brain work.
Yeah.
Right? And like really pollute their information flow to the point where they don't know how to handle themselves in public. And like, you just don't see that on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can have huge disappointments, but it's like, life goes on. For them, it's like, no, it's the end of eternity, because I'm surrounded by this information flow that has convinced me that literally is coming back. And it's sad, honestly.
Right. It's no wonder that institutions like Disney and ABC are so out of touch with reality when you consider the fact that 80%, 90% of the people who work in both of those organizations think exactly like she does. And until they have a 50-50 split, they're not going to understand. A 50-50, like half Republican, half Democrat. Until they have that, they're not going to understand how to talk to regular people.
Well, Ashbrook, there's a report out today about how these so-called mainstream, meaning corporate media dinosaurs, are in a full-blown panic right now, trying to find people who actually understand Donald Trump and his voters to come and be commentators on their shows, like The View. Then there's this whole debate about, is somebody going to get fired? Because already, believe it or not, they have 2 purported conservatives on The View right now. I know you don't know that, but they all hate Trump. They all hate Trump. So it's like, well, did they bring in a 7th chair onto the already crowded table? Or do they fire somebody, replace with an actual Trump supporter? I'll be shocked if they find an actual, even Megyn McCain was never a Trump supporter. She was just a conservative. They haven't had an actual Trump supporter on there, I think, ever. So that's the same network. So they're worried about how to get a conservative, a Trump supporter, on The View that's going to put out this with this star who hates us, who's a woke Snow White. Like, they don't know what to do. They have no conservatives in their lives. They aren't out of the echo chamber. They're in the same echo chamber as this Rachel Zegler is. And that's why they can't figure out how to fix anything.
Right. And you don't solve the problem with window dressing. One person sitting on the desk at The View having a conservative point of view is not going to change the problem, because they're going to get bullied to kingdom come when the cameras go off. They need to change the culture of these places. It has to be half Republican, half Democrat, just like the rest of our country. And in the case of ABC, I think they should hire 50.2% of their staff as Republican to look exactly the way the popular vote looked last.
I mean, I guarantee you the crew over there is already Republican. The crews tend to be more right-leaning. They're the best piece of network news. I love all the crew guys I worked with, even at NBC. But the on-air talent and the producing staff and the administrative staff is a different story. So they're not going to. And that's the problem. It won't work. You're right, because look what's happening on CNN. We just played the clip with the great Scott Jennings, who's been a one-man, band over there trying to take down these liberal talking points. It's entertaining for us to watch. He's not saving CNN. CNN's ratings are in the fucking toilet. Sorry, they are. So it's not going to save you unless you actually change the way your network is set up, and until you actually get the big first sit down with Kamala Harris and you send a real journalist in there, not you, Dana Bash, to ask actually hard questions with follow-ups that are pressing. It's not that hard. It was a mere 10 years ago that you had journalists over there who would do it. You let it slip away too fast. 4 years of crushing interest rates, runaway inflation, and reckless government spending, and who is paying the price? You are. You might have bills stacking up, debt collectors on your back. You might barely be able to keep food on the table. Done with Debt can be a way out. They have developed new, aggressive strategies designed to get you out of debt permanently, without bankruptcy and without loans. Done with Debt stands between you and your bill collectors. They can go head-to-head with these creditors, getting balances reduced, interest rates slashed, and penalties stopped. They create a plan to end your debt fast and put more cash in your pocket every month. And right now, Done with Debt is accepting new clients, but you need to act fast. Some credit relief programs expire. Before you even make another payment, consider a visit to donewithdebt.com or call 1-888-322-1054 right now. Speak with one of their debt relief strategists for free. Go to donewithdebt.com. That's donewithdebt.com. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.